today, I learned how important it was because of an interaction that I had. So let me just go ahead and tell you this quick story. So yesterday I was sitting down with a woman, and she was telling me about how she's from Trinidad, red, white, and black. And she's been here for the last 20 years. And in her being here, she has a green card. But she has been continuously renewing her green card over and over again. She expressed to me her fear of becoming a citizen, not knowing how to become a citizen, not knowing what it takes to be a citizen, not knowing if she's able to pass the test to her citizenship, and what happens if she's unable to become a citizen. What does that mean for her? So instead of, having all those unknowns, she's just been renewing her green card. And as an American, I can say, I don't know this. I don't know this struggle. I don't know this feeling. I don't know what it feels like to have that unknown, to think for a second that I could be shipped out at any point in time, that my life, my livelihood, my children, everything that I built could be taken away from me because of executive orders and because of policy. You care not about me, my family, my feelings, but because of policy. So how do we do this the right way? Citizens workshops. That's where we start. In this rising, we have Veronica Serrato. This is not her first time in the building with us. This is actually her second. And we are going to discuss Project Citizenship and how those that are listening, because we have a lot of foreigners that listen. And foreigners, I don't just mean some of our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean, but foreigners from Ukraine, Yugoslavia. I attended an event last night, and it was for the service industry. And there are so many in the service industry, even people that are look white, blonde hair, blue eyes, have the deepest accents, aren't even from America. These people everybody needs help. So good rising, Veronica. How are you?
Good morning, Tayla. Thank you for having me on your show again. I was here in September, and I can tell you that your listeners love and appreciate you.
Really?
We had dozens and dozens of people call. I didn't think people were awake at this hour. And they waited till 9, and the phones were buzzing. And I really want to thank you, because it really led to dozens of people applying for citizenship in September. And they will be citizens 6 months from then, so March.
Really?
Yeah, it takes about 6 months total.
So we're here in January.
Yep.
So in June, you could become a citizen.
In time to vote in the next
election. Oh.
This is the time to do it. Exactly.
Say that one more time.
People who apply for citizenship now, because we're in January, will be citizens around June, July. It's a 6-month process. They're going a little bit faster right now. And you'll be a citizen well in advance of the time needed to register to vote for the November federal election for president.
Yes, we need you. Please, we need you. Oh, Lord. Have you seen Donald Trump? Oh, we need you. So, first question. So yesterday, the young lady, one of the things that she was very fearful. Mm-hmm. Fearful that she, what is this fear? Because I'm ignorant. So let's talk about the fear. Why are people with green cards so fearful of being, I guess, deported in a sense, right?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons to be that people are afraid. I mean, think about the last time you took a test. When was that? Mm-hmm. And how afraid you were, and how you get that sick feeling in your stomach that you're not going to pass.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
And you have to go and you have to take an English test, and you also have to answer up to 10 civics questions. You have to get 6 right. But they're questions that you have to study for. And so I think people are just afraid to sit down and learn the material and take the test. And for people for whom English is not their first language, mm-hmm. it's even more stressful. So imagine taking a test in Japanese after studying Japanese, or taking a test in Arabic, right? You could do it if you learned enough Arabic, but it's not your comfort zone to go into a room with one person and be asked all of these questions. But we give people the materials. We give them the 100 questions. There's a lot of free materials online to study for these tests. There's PDFs, so you can MP3s rather, so you can listen to the question and then the answer and practice it. We have flashcards, but people are genuinely nervous that they're not going to pass. And I think people don't understand what happens if you don't pass. So you have 2 chances to take the test, and if you don't pass 2 times, then you just have to apply again. But you don't lose your green card.
Oh.
You're not like bumped out. You just don't get citizenship at that point in time. But you can always reapply. And I think for people who pay the $680 filing fee to apply for citizenship, there's a huge fear that if you don't pass, you're going to lose that money. And we spend a lot of time helping people to get fee waivers if they're eligible. So I think it's just in the way you do your show, which I so admire and respect, is getting information out to the general public, debunking myths, making sure people know what's available in the community, that there are people who know what they're doing, who have licenses, and that they can get those services for free. You don't have to go to the notario on the corner and give them money and then end up with nothing. You don't need to rely.
I'm ignorant. What's the notario?
Notario are just notaries in the community who hold themselves out to know immigration law.
Oh.
And then they charge people. So, like, oh, there's this woman at the hair salon and she helps me fill out citizenship applications. Well, she's probably better at cutting hair than doing citizenship applications. And so it's really important that you go to people who know what they're doing and not just someone in the community who says he or she knows what they're doing. And it's about distrust, right? I get why people distrust us. We're in Boston. I'm Mexican, but so maybe some people trust me because of that, but other people distrust me because of that. So I understand that it's scary to go to someone you don't know and to pick up the phone and talk to people you don't know, but anyone can call us. There's no obligation to talk to us on the telephone. And just listen and get more information. And I think people need to ask the same question a few different times and make sure they're getting the right answer instead of just going with the first person they talk to and giving them a bunch of money and losing a bunch of money.
How much does it cost to renew your green card?
I just looked it up because I knew you were going to ask me. I'm going to come back to that. It's a lot. Given that you can apply for citizenship and never renew your green card again. The green card renewal fee is $450.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
450. So you come to America, you get a green card.
Right.
And that green card says, how long can you stay here for?
You can stay here permanently, which is why it's a legal permanent resident, but you have to renew it every time it expires, which I believe, I'm looking it up, could be 10 years. I'll find out how long it lasts.
Okay.
But every time you pay, it's like renting your house versus buying a house, right? The rent just goes out the window. If you're paying your mortgage, you're gonna own something at the end. So if you apply for citizenship, which is $680, which is more than renewing your green card, you'll never have to renew your green card again. So you're investing in yourself.
$230 more allows you to stay.
Never renew your green card. Right.
So let me ask you a question as far as, all right, you have a green card, you're in this country, you own your house. What are the laws regarding having a green card and then, your will, or having a green card and your mortgage being willed? Like if you have a green card and you die, how is that different if you're a citizen and you die?
Surprisingly, there are different laws. The spouses of U.S. citizens inherit differently. They pay a different amount of taxes than citizen spouses. So people who have green cards and are not citizens don't have the same tax benefits when a spouse dies. I mean, it's a pretty, very obscure area of law. And not a lot of people think about that because they're not inheriting. But if you think about sort of, maybe I have my green card, but my spouse is a citizen and we have kids. Those kids are citizens if they were born here. So I, as a parent, would worry about having different status from my kids. I would want the same status. And then you think about people who are mixed families with citizenship versus green cards coming back to the United States. In what line do they go, right? Because some are citizens, some are green card holders. traveling is an issue. And then I would think that when you're in another country, it's an issue. When you travel with a U.S. passport, as you well know, the lines are shorter, never have any problems.
What? Lines are, yeah, right. I've never seen a short line for.
Oh, absolutely.
I've traveled and it's like a 2-hour
But
process.
the citizen lines are shorter than
Are you serious? I couldn't. Yeah. Oh, no.
I definitely think they're shorter.
Because 2 hours waiting and it snakes around a million times.
But let's say you're in Capo Verde and you're visiting and you lose your green card versus you lose your passport.
Okay.
Where are you going to go when you lose your U.S. passport?
What? The consulate.
Right, the embassy. And they're gonna make sure that you can get back in. What happens when you lose your green card?
Are you stuck there?
Yeah.
Are you stuck there? No.
You're stuck there because you have to get proof of your green card. So you have to get a replacement green card, and that could take months. We hear this from people all the time.
How do you get stuck in a country?
Because you don't have the green card to get back into the United States. So if it gets lost, you have to go and apply for a replacement card and then wait while they process it and give it to you.
And you know, Massachusetts is an at-will. We will fire you at will. What? You're stuck in another country? Okay, fired. Oh,
that's
problem. Horrible.
Yeah, it's a problem. But in terms of being a green card holder here, you know, they're really just subject to all the same laws as everybody else. Mm-hmm. They have to renew their green card. And there are restrictions on how long you can leave the country. So as a citizen, if you wanted to go live wherever, Aruba, for 20, 30, 40 years and then come back, you can come back. That's your right. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to prove you're a U.S. citizen, but you can never be told, oh, no, you were gone too long to come back. As a green card holder, you have to maintain your residency. You can't abandon your permanent residency. Otherwise, they're going to say, well, no, actually, you abandoned your status and you've got to start over.
Well, I went back home. My parents were sick. I was trying to take care of my parents. They just died. And now I'm back here trying to take care of my children that, you know, my daughter just had a baby and, you know, this is life. Life happens.
Right. Right. So if you're a citizen, you come and go as you please. You go and you take care of your parents and you come back and you take care of your kids and no one's going to say anything because you have the ability to do it. And then a lot of folks, after they become U.S. citizens, go to the effort to become a dual citizen of the country that they're originally from. And then you're just protected on both ends, right? You can own property in your country
of origin.
Can
you be a tri-citizen? Could you have
I've never heard of that. I would have to research that. I don't see why not. I don't know how you'd get that third country, but you can definitely be a dual citizen. I guess if your parents are both from different countries and you become a U.S. citizen, you could potentially have 3. I'll look into that.
That'd be amazing.
You ask funny questions. I will think about that.
You want to know what? In all honesty, a lot of these questions that I have been questions I've had since a little girl that nobody could ever answer for me. And as an adult, you know, when you're a child, you have to stay in a child's place and don't ask any questions. Yeah. As an adult, you can't tell me that. I got questions.
Now you want them. Now you want answers.
So if you guys want answers as well, you give us a call, 617-282-0062. We're talking about Project Citizenship and how you can become a citizen. Do you have any questions about your green card? Do you have any questions about your status? Do you have any questions as far as your family is concerned? Maybe a child is concerned or you've been here for X amount of years, whatever it is. Citizenship, green card, aliens. And one of the things that I'd like to discuss is why Americans are so mad and don't want this process. Because I can't tell you how many messages that are chiming up. People don't want people to become citizens. Nah, tell them to go back home. We don't want Mexicans here. We don't want Muslims here. We don't want those traveling from South America up through Mexico to be here. Hold on, but what the girl say? Donald Trump, who's going to clean your toilets?
That's a good one.
She's so ignorant. Oh, Lord. 617-282-0062. Good rising. Caller, you're live.
Hi, Tayla.
Good rising.
Hi, I'm one of the guests. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Veronica.
This is Veronica Serrato.
Toronto. So I got a question, and the situations are similar but a little different. One of them is a friend, one of them is a relative. And what I can't understand is, you know, I don't understand some of how we do the things we do with the immigration laws. And I'll just get right to the point. One of my relatives has been here since he was like 5 years old, right? One parent's a citizen, other parent, I believe, is a green card holder. My family's from Jamaica. And my cousin, later on in life, got into a little bit of trouble with the law or whatever. Nothing crazy, didn't kill nobody.
Was it drug related?
So, I believe so. I can't say 100%, but I believe so. But had 2 kids, great father. Always took care of his kids, no issues. He worked, he paid taxes, the whole time he was here. Then he gets deported. I don't understand him having to leave his 2 kids here, right? Then the family got to turn around and get on assistance, possibly. You know what I mean? When you had someone that was right here taking care of his kids. You know what I mean? Now, well, we're taking care of them now. If they got to go into, get public assistance and whatnot, it don't make no sense.
So it sounds like the kids were U.S. citizens, right? It sounds like the kids were citizens.
Yeah, the kids were citizens. Kids were born here.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you're at risk of deportation if you commit a crime that the government deems is not appropriate. Those are called crimes involving moral turpitude. So examples are any drug crimes, as Tayla said. Any drug crimes make you deportable. Any offense involving weapons, any arms offenses, any gun offenses make you deportable. Even 2 or more things that you would think are sort of petty, but suggest that you might not be of good moral character, like shoplifting, like welfare fraud, things like that, make you deportable. And the only absolute protection from deportation is citizenship. A citizen, as you said, who commits murder or any other heinous crime can never be deported.
I want to know when we can deport some of these companies, because you're naming things that big box companies do on a regular basis. Can we deport them?
Companies aren't deportable.
They're not deported. Oh, damn. I'm sorry. They're not held to the same level as citizens.
No, they're not.
What about, my apologies. Go ahead.
This one, friend of mine, been here since maybe 2 or 3 years old, younger. Now, I don't think it's the person's fault whose family brought them here, and they grew up here and go to school here all their life. And then later on, as they're approaching adult age, realize what their legal status is. And this particular friend of mine never been in trouble with the law ever. Business owner, entrepreneur, never been in no trouble. And they were looking for him to deport him.
For what purpose? For what reason?
Just because he overstayed his stay, because he was here illegally.
So there's a lot of things in what you just said, and I want to just sort of go through them a little bit. So the government is not actively deporting folks who are out of status, who overstayed a visa or a green card, or are just out of status. You can't overstay a green card, so I'll take that back. But for folks who've committed crimes, they are actively deporting them. And the executive order that Obama signed, now, what was it, more than a year ago, that stuck in the courts, would give temporary protected status to parents of U.S. citizens, parents who've fallen out of status but have U.S. citizens, who've been in the United States long enough and haven't committed any crimes. But that's stuck in the courts.
Hold on, but if I remember correctly, you have to be over the age of 23.
There's a lot of rules. You have to have gone to school.
But
you
that's
have to
crazy,
have paid your
because
taxes.
what if you do have, like, the first question, what if you do have like a 2-year-old and a 10-year-old and they're citizens, and now you're on your way to being deported, and your children either have to go to a foreign land that they've never seen before, and probably don't even speak the native tongue, and that is breaking up families. But it sounds like we don't care. Back to policy. It's policy. Oh, I'm sorry about your feelings, but we have policies.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. It's and there, that relief does not yet exist. because it ended up in the courts, and then there was the injunction, and the injunction hasn't been lifted. So that is not the law. The only protection that does exist was the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, the DACA, and that did go through a few years back, and that's for children who arrived during certain years, who were brought here by parents for whatever reason, didn't have status, and it allows them to get temporary protected status, which includes work authorization, but it's temporary. It's a 3-year protected status. It's not a green card, and it's not a path to citizenship. And when I think about all those folks who would do anything to get citizenship, and then I look at the millions, literally millions of green card holders in the United States, of which there's about 40,000 in the Boston area, who are sitting on their green cards and not becoming citizens, those are the folks I really want to get motivated, apply for citizenship, become citizens, become a voter. I think if there are enough green card holders in the United States who become citizens, who then actively go out and vote, they will change policy eventually, because it's got to start somewhere. And
so if you have a green card, you cannot vote.
if you have a green card, you cannot vote.
If you have a visa, you cannot vote.
Absolutely not. The only people who can vote are U.S. citizens, which means they were either born here or they became citizens through a naturalization process, or they got it through their parents.
Naturalization, what is that?
That's the applying for citizenship. That's the $680 filing fee. It's taking the test.
6 months.
6 months, and then you go and get sworn in. Usually Quincy Market or Heinz Auditorium, somewhere in there. There's also an office in Lawrence, so people who live out there can go there. There's district offices all over the United States, so it depends on where you're living. You get to go to the nearest office.
So, but what if you don't speak any English?
So there are exemptions. If you're 50 years old and you've had your green card for 20 years, you can take it in your language of origin, period, end, just based upon your date of birth and how long, when you got your green card. If you're 55 years old and you've had your green card for 15 years, you can take it in your language of origin. No questions asked, that's it. It's just an exemption, it's written into the law. If you are unable to learn English because of some cognitive issues, Alzheimer's, disability, dementia, then you can get a medical waiver. It's a special form, it's called an N648, and the doctor fills that out, and then if USCIS accepts it, you don't have to take the civics test either.
I was about to say, because if you have Alzheimer's and you can barely remember your name, I don't know how you're going to remember 100 questions.
Right. We've recently helped some kids who were green card holders, but are on the autistic spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And a doctor wrote a good analysis about why the person couldn't learn English and couldn't learn the civics questions. And he got sworn in as a citizen on the spot.
So we do care about some feelings sometimes.
Well, like a lot of things in the United States and in the law, it can be hard to maneuver. And you need someone who knows how to navigate these waters and say, yes, this is doable, or no, it's not doable.
And not go to
Notarios.
Notarios.
Yeah,
We're learning a new word today. We have another call on the line, 617-282-0062. If you have any questions in regards to your green card, citizenship, immigration, you know what? Dumb question. Difference between immigration and migration.
Well, there's the immigration, which is coming into the United States. Emigration, EMM, is leaving. Migration, I'm not sure.
Maybe that's just animals.
Maybe it's the moving of herds. Let me look it up.
But Carly, you just hung up on me, baby. Call back, 617-282-0062. If you have any questions as far as citizenship. Is it her?
Migration, seasonal movement of animals from one region to another.
Hey, so that wasn't such a dumb question after
No,
all.
it was not.
Good rising, Carly, you're live.
How are you doing?
Super fantastic. How are you? Thank you for holding.
No problem. I was curious, when you hear a lot of stories about guys marrying women from other countries and bring them here on the what's called fiancé visa, do they automatically become citizens once they get married, or do they just get green cards?
That's a great question. You do not automatically become a citizen by marrying a citizen. You get a green card, and then spouses of U.S. citizens are eligible for citizenship in 3 years. as opposed to the general population, which is eligible in 5 years. But that's a really good question.
So thank you, Carla. Love and appreciate you. Hope you have an awesome day. Let's play with that for a second. What if I'm married? I got married. He's a citizen. I am not. But I didn't know he was abusive, and now I want a divorce. But I still want to stay here.
Not an issue. If you get your green card through the Violence Against Women Act because you have an abusive U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, then you're still eligible after 3 years. You don't have to wait for 5 years. So that's not a problem. If you end up divorced,
do I have to stay in this horrible marriage for 3 years?
No, absolutely not. Well, yeah, you have to have been married for 3 years, but you can still get it when you actually no. If you get it through the Violence Against Women Act, you can apply after 3 years.
After 3 years.
Yeah.
So after a year, I found out he's abusive. I have to stay for 2 more years in abusive relationship.
No, leave.
But I can still stay in the country.
Yeah, with your green card.
With my green card.
Right.
And then after 2 years,
apply for citizenship.
Okay, all right. Because I feel like there's a woman out there right now that's in a relationship that she doesn't want to be in, but she's afraid that if I leave, because he told me that he's going to call deportation on me, he's going to call them folks.
I mean, that's a really common threat that the victims of domestic violence hear, and also I'm going to take away your kids. That's the other one. And I really advise them to call SafeLink, call a hotline, and get some good advice about the best thing to do, because it's the most important thing is to be safe, because you're not going to be able to apply for anything if you're not alive and well.
You better say that, yes, and domestic violence is running rampant in this country.
Yeah, so I'm going to get that phone number. There's a hotline.
Well, while you pull that up, we do have a caller on the line, 617-282-0062. Project Citizenship, do you have any questions? 617-282-0062. Good rising, caller, you live.
Good rising. This is V from Memphis.
Hey, Memphis, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I know we won last night, baby. Roll Tide.
What a fantastic game. But I have a question about the topic. So, we know that there are a number of wealthy people, some including politicians, who also purchase mail order brides. Sometimes they come over. I'm just interested to know, how does that work with becoming an American citizen? Go online and you purchase a bride from another country and they come over. Is that automatic citizenship?
No, so there's no automatic citizenship, mail order or otherwise, true love or mail order. You still have to apply for citizenship after 3 years. And if you apply under the 3-year category, they're just going to want to make sure that it's a real marriage, that it's a bona fide marriage. And you know what a bona fide marriage is, right? Do you actually live together? What color is his toothbrush? What side of the bed does he sleep on? Things like that. They're still going to go through that validity of the marriage, but then they can apply for citizenship after 3 years. So I have the hotline for anyone who's in a domestic violence situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's 877-785-2020.
One more time.
877-785-2020. That's SafeLink at the Casa Mirna, which is the largest battered women's shelter and legal advocacy program in New England. And you can call and just talk, get ideas, get help. And they also have access to all the shelters that are available.
Mm-hmm. So this number, this SafeLink number, we're going to give that number out one more time, is for any woman who is in a domestic violence situation that has ever been threatened that her green card or her citizenship or her ability to be in the United States will be taken away if you don't stay in this abusive relationship. Your children will be taken away if you don't stay in this abusive relationship. If you have whatever your status is and you are fearful for your life and you are threatened on a regular basis about being sent back to your country of origin, being sent back without your children or having your children taken away from you, you do have protected rights. And even though you're not a citizen, don't let anybody tell you differently that you do not have rights. And you can get more information at SafeLink.
877-785-2020.
Thank you so much. We have a few more callers on the line. If you are currently trying to call in and the phone lines are busy, just keep trying, or you can make sure you hit me up anonymously, TaylaAndre. That's on every social media platform. Good Rising, Caller, you're live. Hey, Miss G.
Good morning. I wanted to ask about the person that had applied for a green card and then disappeared. What's the fines and what's the penalty?
What you mean disappeared? But where they go?
You know, and then they came back. What happens to them? What happens to them?
So let me get this straight. They applied for a green card, and then they went back to their country of origin, or maybe they didn't get their mail.
Yeah, and then I have a friend that applied for a green card, got it, and then moved someplace else. Never got back in touch with immigration, and eventually Kate surfaced 10 years later. What's the fines and what's the penalty?
I have a question. Did this person leave the United States, or did they just work under the table so there's nothing as far as government being able to track them disappear? Oh, okay. So as far as government not being able to track them, they disappeared often. And what happens between that? When you come in this country, do you have to work? Like, are they tracking your movements to see what you're doing with your life?
You have to, if you have a green card, you do have to register with the USCIS. They have to know where you are, and you have to file change of address and things like that. I obviously don't understand the specifics of this situation, but it sounds like they applied for something and then left before they got it. So they have to, it sounds like they'd have to start over. But as I said, I don't know the specifics of this situation. But like with most things, if you apply for something and you leave before you get it, you didn't get it, and you have to start over.
So let's go ahead and give the number out. How can people contact you? How can people reach you?
Our phone number is 617-694-5949. You can visit our website, projectcitizenship.org. We're also on Facebook, and find us there. But it's 617-694-5949. We have folks in the office a lot of folks in the office who speak Spanish as well. So you can call us anytime. We open at 9. No one will be there yet.
So give them a few hours before you give them a call. 617-282-0062. Give us a call if you have any questions. Shout out to Anonymous, who recently hit me up. I'm going to get to your question in one moment, but let's take these phone line questions first. Good Rising, Caller, you live. Good Rising. Talk loud to me, baby.
Yeah, I was wondering, I have a friend, right? He came to the United States when he was 17 years old. And his mother was a citizen before he got here and everything, but he didn't get his citizenship or nothing. He still have his green card here. Is that person a citizen, or you have to go and sign up to become a citizen?
So there's you're asking a really good question. So some people acquire citizenship at birth. Like, let's say I'm living in another country and I have kids there, but both parents are citizens. They might be born citizens, even though they were born outside of the United States. Other people derive citizenship because a parent became a U.S. citizen while they were under 18. The parent had custody of them. The child was living in the United States, and the child has their green card. It really depends on the actual date of birth of the child and the actual date that the parent became a citizen. And there's this whole chart we have to look at. But if that person calls us, we'll know whether or not he's a citizen. If he isn't automatically a citizen because his mom became a citizen before he turned 18, then he can apply for citizenship. He would be eligible to apply.
Thank you, caller. Love and appreciate you. Hope you have an awesome day. We're going to try and get through these phone lines quickly because I also have some people that are asking questions. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TaylaAndre. Good Rising, Caller, you're live. It's you, baby. Good Rising. Okay. So we just lost 4 callers. Baby, I promise I will pull you up if you have a little bit more patience. 617-282-0062, because you hanging up and calling back, what the customer service people say, your call will be handled in the order it was received. So if you hang up and call back, the person who called and actually held on is going to be on before you, even though you called first. So just a little patience, baby, just a little. 617-282-0062. Good Rising, Caller, you live.
Is that me?
Yep, it's you. Talk to me, baby.
Yes, my dear. Yes, okay. I had a question for Veronica. Yes. Oh, good morning, Veronica.
Good morning.
Good Rising. Go ahead. We have.
My question, basically, I've been hearing a rumor. I don't know if it's real or not, but I've been hearing it's like your parents from another country, and basically, like if you're a child, okay, you're from another country, you have a child, he's a citizen, and he does a heinous crime. Is he deportable?
So someone who's born in the United States is not deportable. Someone who does not have citizenship is deportable.
It was a rumor I was hearing that they were saying that if your child is a citizen, their parents from another country, and they're not citizen or whatever, that child who is a citizen that did a heinous crime can still be deported back.
Children who are citizens who commit heinous crimes cannot be deported.
Because they are citizens.
Because they are citizens.
They can't be deported.
No.
I hope that answers your question, baby. If you guys have any other questions and you don't feel comfortable calling, one more time, Veronica Serrato, how do they get in contact with you, Project Citizenship?
617-694-5949. The office opens at 9.
All right, we have another call on the line. Good Rising, Caller, you live. Hi, baby.
Excuse me.
Good Rising.
I actually have a quick question. Just wanted to know, how would you go about applying for a visa for somebody that's not from this country?
So what I'd suggest is you start by looking at the USCIS website, the United States Citizenship and Information Services. It really depends. There are tourist visas, there are visas for special workers, there are fiancé visas, there are all sorts of visas, student visas. So it really depends on the fact situation, their age, why they're coming. But a visa is a temporary permission to stay. So it's not green card. It's not legal permanent residence. It's just temporary permission to stay.
So I have a question. Thank you, Carla. Love and appreciate you. Hope you have an awesome day. My question is, what if I want to bring somebody here? What if, it's kind of cheap to have a maid if you get a maid from, Guatemala or El Salvador. And I think I want a maid. And I want to bring somebody here. Or I have a family member that I want to bring here. How do I bring this person?
So you can bring family members over as a U.S. citizen, but there are certain categories of
I can't bring the maid though, right?
Well, the maid is harder because you'd have to figure out, you have to look at what the category would be that she'd be eligible to come.
Nanny.
There are au pair.
Oh, really?
Ones. Yeah, you could look into that. But U.S. citizens have a higher priority in bringing family members over. So if there's 2 people in line and one's bringing their brother over and one's a U.S. citizen and the other one has a green card and they're both trying to bring a brother over, the U.S. citizen has priority and that process will go faster for the citizen than for the green card holder.
I got it.
And there's only certain categories that are allowed. So like, for example, you can't bring over your third cousin by marriage. Right?
What about my godchild?
Blood relation or just?
No, that's my godchild.
Yeah, maybe not.
So their mother knew I was coming to America. She knew that I was going to be established. And she was like, oh, you're the godmother, because godmothers have to take care of the kids just like they were parents.
You could adopt the child. And then that becomes a child.
Listen, if companies, corporations get loopholes.
Yeah, knowledge.
Okay, that's what we'll call it. It's not loopholes, it's knowledge.
Yeah.
Hey, ask all those companies how they don't pay taxes.
Right.
Knowledge, not
Right.
loopholes. Knowledge. 617-282-0062. Good rising, calling you live. It's you, baby. Yell at me.
How you doing? I just want to know how you get around the naturalization certificate. I think your citizenship from your mother.
There's a different form.
So we're not, there's no getting around. It's the knowledge.
Right. No, but well, I think what you're saying is what's the form? So there's two different forms. If you're getting citizenship from a parent, it's an N600. And if you're applying for citizenship, it's an N400. And you just need to talk to someone who can look at these charts and figure out, are you a citizen or are you applying for citizenship? And we'd actually have had cases where we've applied for citizenship and they've written back and say, oh no, you are a citizen.
Oh,
Use the other form.
really?
Well, we've also had the opposite where we say, this person is a citizen, give me proof of citizenship. And they say, oh no, you're not a citizen, apply for citizenship. But you just need to sit down with someone and make sure you do the right form, because I don't want you to waste money filing the wrong form.
And time.
And time.
We want you to be able to vote against Trump.
Yeah,
So
as quickly
we
as
need you.
possible.
And if, I'm still blown by 40,000 in Massachusetts.
Yes. That are
40,000.
eligible- Yeah, in the Boston area that are eligible for citizenship. And, you know, beyond the federal election, there's state and local elections. You know, we have a Republican governor in Massachusetts, right? A lot of times people feel like it doesn't matter if you vote in Massachusetts because it's such a liberal state and it's a Democratic state. But that's not really true if you look at our elected officials. And there are certainly policies that could be affected. So for example, New York has driver's licenses for people without status. You can get a driver's license in New York,
Wow.
but you can't in Massachusetts. Not yet.
As liberal as we are.
Exactly. So there are a lot of ways that we're not as liberal as we think we are.
So I had a question as far, because you know guns are a big deal right now, topic of conversation and everywhere. What about green cards and your ability to get your gun license? Are citizens the only ones allowed to have guns?
Not to my knowledge, no.
So if you have a green card or any type of other status other than citizenship.
I don't think that's an issue. I'm going to look it up right now. I don't think you need to be a citizen to get a gun permit.
So we're going to go ahead and check that out. We do have another call on the lines. 617-282-0062. Good rising, call you live. Thank you for your patience. Yes, thank you for your patience, baby.
Now, if there's a citizen that's married to someone from another country and they have a daughter that's like right now about 26 or 27, would that father have to become a citizen in order to bring her over, or could the stepmother, who is an American citizen, bring the stepdaughter over, file and bring her over?
Step parents can definitely petition for their
Really?
for other children to come over with visas or to get their green card. Definitely. It doesn't seem to require citizenship to get a gun permit in Massachusetts.
Awesome. Carla, does that answer your question? You're welcome. Hey, I hope that we are opening some people's eyes this morning. I hope that somebody's being helped, because we have 40,000 eligible people living in Massachusetts. So if you know somebody who works with you, you know somebody who's having problems, you know somebody with an accent. You know what? I'm going to go off on a ledge and say, you know somebody with an accent, ask them if they're interested in becoming a citizen. Tayla, you can't do that. That's racist. They might be citizens, but they also might not be citizens. And one of the things that I've noticed is some of the foreigners, like they're not picky. Like they're happy to be here. They're not like American citizens are a-holes. Like we're so far, like we will sit here and argue you about anything and everything. And I feel like foreigners come here and they don't argue about anything. They're happy to be here. They're happy to have a job. They're happy to not live in the country in which that they are from. They're happy for their freedoms. And if I have a green card, well, hey, it allows me to be here. I don't know anything about a citizenship. I don't know anything about my rights, what I do have as rights as a green card holder. And, you know, but Good for the goose is good for the gander. I'm okay.
I think a good way to ask people, because you don't want to offend them, like, are you a citizen? Where are you from? And no one likes that, right? How often do you get that? Where are you from? I'm from Dorchester. Where are you from, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Is to say, you know, I heard about this program that if you know anyone who's not a citizen and they're green card holder, they can help you become a citizen, as opposed to.
Don't be like Tayla. Are you a citizen?
Are you a citizen?
Do you want your citizen? But you know what? I asked the woman yesterday. I was like, so you're not a citizen?
Right.
I have a program that can help you.
Right, exactly.
So don't.
It's done with the spirit to help.
Yeah, I don't have any tact. I know. Hey, you have to thy own self be true. I don't have tact. Are you a citizen? I have a program that can help you. Or you can do it respectfully. Unlike the way that I do. 617-2820. Oh, wow. We've come all the way to the top of the hour. I'm going to give these two last callers. Please have patience with me, baby. But you have 30 seconds because we got to get out of here. Good Rising, caller, you live. Shut your radio off for me, baby.
Me?
Yes, it is. Good Rising.
Hi, good rising. I had a question. I have to get across the street right now. Sorry, I'm driving. I have a question. When you file paperwork for a petition for your spouse to become a permanent resident, and you file all the paperwork, all the additional supplemental forms and all that, how long does that process normally take if there's like no issues?
Unfortunately, it's going to take a while. Citizenship takes 6 months. That process is probably going to take more than a year.
Hold on. What's the difference? What is she?
So she's saying she's trying to get a green card for her husband.
Okay.
Not citizenship.
So how is he here?
Like on a visa.
So is that okay? Can you come on a visa and then ask for a green card and then become a citizen? Is that like the process?
Yeah, that's okay. The process depends on what they had when they applied for a green card. But he's here while it's pending. Some people, it depends. There's all sorts of rules about when you bring a fiance over and when you actually met, when you got engaged. But it sounds like you actually know what you're doing, caller. You have applied and it's in the process, and hopefully you consulted with a lawyer who did that, because you want to make sure you do it right.
And not through
notario.
Notario. We don't want to go that route. Our last caller of the Rising 617. Oh, no more callers. Good Rising, caller, you live. Yell at me, baby. I can't hear you.
I've ever they ever send somebody when they go for the citizen test for like your driving record, like for simple driving violation.
We do. Our position is that we do disclose driving violations, but it really doesn't matter as long as you didn't leave the scene after personal injury or leave the scene after property. That's not really a driving record. That's more of a criminal record. But turning left on a red light or not stopping, all those generic traffic offenses aren't going to be an issue, but we do disclose it all, and you can get your driving record from the Registry of Motor Vehicles, and we just include all of that information. But it's not going to prevent citizenship.
So what kind of crimes do prevent citizenship?
Things you wouldn't do. Any sort of sexual crime, sexual abuse of a child, carrying a weapon illegally, any drug offenses are problematic.
And that could go any way, because in the state of Massachusetts, if you have a blade bigger than your hand, that's a weapons offense.
Carrying it, I'm talking about arms.
Okay.
Arms, not ammunition. Ammunition's okay, but arms. And domestic violence is also problematic. It's also a deportable offense. But we have charts of crimes that are an issue. If you're not sure, it's better to ask somebody, find out what the crime is, find out if it's a problem. Some are problems forever, and others are only problems for within the last 5 years. So sometimes you can just wait till it's been 5 years since you committed the offense. And it has to be a conviction. So if you're found not guilty of something, or the charges are dismissed and it never goes to trial, something like that, it might not be an issue. But if it's continued without a finding, or it's guilty finding, that's considered a conviction for immigration purposes. But we can talk you through that and figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. If my spouse is eligible for 2017, can she vote now? She's been here coming up on 3 years. So is it like, I've been here almost 3 years and I really want to vote now, or do I have to wait?
You can't vote until you're a U.S. citizen. You cannot vote until you're a U.S. citizen. You can apply for citizenship after 3 years of being married to a U.S. citizen, if you have your green card, if I'm understanding that question right.
Okay, so last question. My mother is 67 years old, been in the U.S. for 5 years. What is the process of getting her citizenship? She can't read, she can't speak English, she can't write English.
We're going to need that N648 form I talked about earlier, the disability waiver. We're going to need a doctor to say that she suffers from some condition or some combination of conditions that makes her unable to learn to read, write, and speak English, and to learn civics. And that can be, I've seen good ones that are a combination of like depression and the impact of the medication and inability to concentrate, inability to remember things. So it can be a combination of things, like maybe diabetes and hypertension and depression combined with the medication the person is taking. It depends on how well it's written, but it's possible the doctor would be willing to fill it out, and we can fax it to any doctor. Just give us a call and give us the doctor's fax number, and we'll get them all the forms they need to fill out.
Knowledge, not loopholes.
Right. Exactly.
Veronica Serrato, I thank you so much. Please give them your name, your number, the website they can reach, get through all the information, and whatever questions that they have.
Thank you so much, Tayla. The number is 617-694-5949. You can visit us online at projectcitizenship.org. And if you type in proyectociudadanía.org, you get to the same place. So you can give that website to English and Spanish speakers alike. And we really appreciate your support and getting the information out and knowledge to the people in Boston.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I do like to do, you speak fluent Spanish. Can you please speak to all of the Latinos in Spanish and tell them we're Project Citizenship? If you know anybody would agree to do it.
With pleasure. Si alguien está escuchando este programa y habla en español, deben saber que el Proyecto Ciudadanía les puede ayudar a solicitar la ciudadanía. Nos puede llamar al 617-694-5949. Nos pueden visitar en la red en proyectociudadanía.org y le podemos ayudar para solicitar su ciudadanía. El número de teléfono de nuevo es 617-694-5949. Gracias.
I love it. One more time for the English speakers. What is the number and what is the website?
It's 617-694-5949. I sent you some stuff yesterday. I don't know if you can put it on your website as well so that people can have it. It's just a brochure about basic eligibility. 617-694-5949. Call us at 9 o'clock.
At 9. You're not open right now.
You can leave us a message and we'll call you back.
I thank you, Veronica. Hopefully, voting is in November.
Voting is in November.
And that's the 11th. So maybe we should have you back in March, April, so they can do the 6-month process and be able to be eligible to vote.
Call today, and I'm happy to come back anytime.
Thank you.
Thank
Big
you.
City 101.3 FM, waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Unorthodox conversation, because where else you going to find a conversation like this? Unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope y'all have an awesome day. Mwah.
The champ is here. The champ is here.
I'm awake now. Thank you so much. That was really good. I think that was better than last time.
101.3, where we do.
Hopefully your phone lines will go crazy.
Oh, they're going to be
today.
going crazy. Well, you had a ton of callers this time. Last time there were way fewer callers.
You know what? And they are so impatient.
And they're so informed. Like, they're very knowledgeable. I'm impressed.
I love my callers.
They keep it going.
What is this?
Oh, this is an anniversary thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's my name, my husband's name, and the day we got married.
I love that. It looks like my mom brought something back when she went to the Aztecs.
Yeah?
And it looks something
Mayan.
similar. Yeah.
I like it.
I
It's
love
the
it.
right weight. for me. Like I can feel it, but it's not
Not
like,
too heavy, yeah.
it's not bending me over. I can't thank you enough for this. Really, I'm so happy to have met you.
It's not for
You are
me.
fun.
It's for the listeners.
It's knowledge. Reggie, have a good day.
You too.
It's always a pleasure to see you. Now do you get to go home and go to sleep?
No, now I get to go to work.
You don't go to the gym or something.
Yeah, I'm
crazy.
about to right now.
You go to the gym and then you go to work?
Yes.
Not with this man, right?
Nope.
No, not
This is
today.
gonna
Not
work
today.
you to death.
Ooh, Reggie, drink my tea.
So in March, I'm going to see a new person here. I'm going to see a new Tayla.
No. Yes,
her?
yes.
A little sculpting.
In March?
Yes,
Nah.
with abs and
Not
a
March.
booty.
Okay.
All that.
March is too soon. We'll
March
go a
is
little
too
longer than
soon?
that. A little
What?
longer than
Don't say that. I
Yeah.
can do it in March.
No,
I can
a
do
little longer
it.
than
It's
that.
motivated. Thank you so much.
You're
Have a
welcome.
great
Thank
day.
you.
Yeah, we're going a little longer than March. March right around the corner.
Listen, May is my birthday. I have to be naked in my birthday suit for my birthday, Reggie. I love you. I appreciate you. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I apologize that Periscope kept shutting down, but my phone kept overheating, and they need to fix a few things when it comes to Periscope. Because why you got to take up my whole phone? The whole phone? I want to shout out Fogo Fund. If you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who has, they want to go ahead and endorse me, some type of sponsorship, t-shirts, hats, clothes, Roll Tide. Shout out to Alabama. That's what I'm talking about. Championship. We are the champions, my friend. I should have sung that on air.
Oh, no.
Why? You don't like my singing?
Oh, no.
Mwah. I love you. I appreciate you. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to have an awesome conversation. I believe tomorrow we're going to talk about domestic violence. I got to check the calendar. But awesome conversation. Hope you guys have an amazing day today.